Chosen one, you got people looking for you in places and they want to control you and the situation, but you're being protected. Right now, multiple individuals are actively hunting your presence with the desperation of addicts craving their next hit, plotting coordinates and obsessing over manufactured encounters because they cannot survive without access to your energy. That crawling sensation up your spine isn't paranoia, it's accurate intelligence about predators circling your location while divine forces work overtime, deflecting their advances and keeping you safe during your transformation. Multiple individuals have been checking your social media profiles with forensic intensity, analyzing every posted image for clues about your current lifestyle, emotional state, and potential vulnerabilities they could exploit to regain access to your energy field. Former friends scroll through years of your content with the dedication of private investigators, searching for patterns that might reveal your new routines, favorite locations, or relationship status. Past romantic connections study your recent activity for signs of loneliness, sadness, or confusion they could weaponize in carefully crafted messages designed to reopen communication channels you deliberately closed. Family members who lost access to your stabilizing energy during your transformation monitor your digital footprint with relentless persistence, hoping to discover leverage they could use to guilt you back into previous dynamics that served their needs while depleting your spiritual reserves. The most sophisticated seekers have moved beyond passive observation into active reconnaissance operations that would impress military intelligence professionals. They drive past locations associated with your history, hoping to catch glimpses of your vehicle or witness you entering familiar establishments during times when your guard might be lowered. Some have recruited mutual connections to serve as unwitting intelligence sources, extracting information about your current activities through seemingly casual conversations that are actually carefully planned interrogation sessions. Others have created elaborate schemes to engineer coincidental encounters in places they believe you might appear, coordinating their schedules around your suspected routines, like predators studying their prey's migration patterns. These seeking behaviors have intensified dramatically since you began your transformation journey, creating a phenomenon that resembles spiritual stalking more than genuine concern for your well-being. They monitor which mutual friends you interact with online, analyzing like patterns and comment threads for hints about your current social circle. Some have created fake social media accounts to observe your activity without detection, while others use friends' accounts to maintain surveillance capabilities you blocked from their primary profiles. The most determined have enlisted private investigation services or hired social media monitoring companies to track your digital footprint across multiple platforms simultaneously. Your absence from their accessible reality has created energetic vacuums that are systematically destroying the foundation of their emotional stability, forcing them to confront aspects of themselves they've spent years avoiding through their connection to your light. Without your natural healing energy reflecting back to them, they're experiencing the true emptiness of their inner landscape for the first time in potentially decades. Instead of using this uncomfortable revelation as motivation for genuine personal healing work, most are channeling their panic into increasingly desperate and sophisticated attempts to re-establish their former connection to your stabilizing influence. The hermit phase you've been experiencing isn't temporary antisocial behavior or depression symptoms requiring medical intervention or therapeutic correction. You're undergoing complete frequency recalibration that's preparing your consciousness for responsibilities, powers, and spiritual capabilities that would have completely overwhelmed your previous incarnation's capacity to handle such intense energetic demands. Like a butterfly dissolving in its cocoon while every cell restructures according to entirely new genetic instructions, your old identity is being deconstructed at the molecular level and rebuilt according to specifications that existed in your soul's blueprint before you took your first breath on this particular planet during this specific incarnation. This metamorphosis explains the seemingly contradictory paradoxes you've been living that have made you question your mental stability and emotional regulation capabilities, feeling simultaneously more powerful than ever before while experiencing unprecedented fatigue that sleep cannot cure, developing heightened intuitive abilities that border on telepathic, while struggling with social anxiety in environments that previously felt comfortable, expanding spiritually at rates that feel almost supernatural, while withdrawing physically from environments, people, and activities that once provided genuine joy and fulfillment. Your soul has been screaming protective warnings through every available channel in your nervous system, but your logical mind keeps dismissing these crucial survival signals as paranoia, overthinking, or social anxiety requiring medication or therapy. Every cancelled plan that left you feeling disappointed and socially isolated, every sudden urge to avoid familiar places despite having no logical reason for the avoidance, every inexplicable anxiety attack that made you change your routine at the last minute. These weren't random emotional fluctuations or character defects requiring correction. Your spiritual protection system has been operating at maximum capacity around the clock, creating an invisible fortress around your evolving consciousness, while multiple categories of energy vampires circle like sharks, sensing blood in metaphysical waters. The targeting you've been experiencing operates through sophisticated networks that span both physical and metaphysical dimensions, coordinating attacks designed to interfere with your transformation process during its most vulnerable stages. On the physical plane, you encounter unusual numbers of rude customer service representatives who seem personally invested in making your day difficult, malfunctioning technology that works perfectly when repair technicians arrive but fails consistently when you need it most, and bureaucratic obstacles that appear specifically designed to waste your time and drain your emotional reserves. These manifestations aren't coincidental bad luck or simple technological glitches. They're evidence of consciousness parasites directing negative energy toward your mission with surgical precision. The first category of seekers consists of individuals who built their entire emotional ecosystem around unlimited access to your natural healing abilities, empathic absorption capabilities, and tendency to prioritize other people's needs over your own well-being. These energy vampires developed sophisticated feeding patterns over months or years that allowed them to drain your positivity, optimism, and life force while simultaneously dumping their negativity, trauma, and unprocessed emotional baggage into your empathic system. They learn to trigger your helper instincts through manufactured crises, emotional manipulation campaigns, and strategic vulnerability displays designed to activate your caretaking responses even when you are exhausted or dealing with your own challenges. During your relationships with these individuals, you noticed feeling inexplicably drained after spending time together, even when the interactions seemed positive, supportive, or mutually beneficial on the surface level. They would arrive at your meetings carrying heavy emotional baggage, unresolved trauma, and negative energy accumulated from their daily interactions, then leave feeling refreshed, optimistic, and energetically renewed, while you felt like you'd been hit by an energetic freight train loaded with their unprocessed psychological debris. These people mastered the art of subtle extraction, taking your vitality while offering just enough validation, appreciation, and emotional support to keep you engaged in the dynamic without recognizing the parasitic nature of the exchange. Now that you've removed yourself from their access during your hermit phase, they're discovering how much of their daily functioning, emotional stability, and basic life management depended entirely on your energy supply rather than their own internal resources. Simple tasks that felt manageable when they could regularly refuel from your light now seem overwhelming, impossible, or completely beyond their capabilities. Their sleep patterns have deteriorated dramatically because they no longer receive the psychic comfort and energetic stabilization your presence provided. Depression and anxiety symptoms they kept at bay through regular energy transfusions from your system are surfacing with devastating intensity. Creating internal chaos they blame entirely on your absence rather than recognizing as evidence of their own unhealed trauma and emotional dependency patterns. The withdrawal symptoms these energy vampires experience manifest as obsessive thoughts about reconnecting with you through any means necessary, including manipulation, guilt campaigns, manufactured emergencies, and elaborate schemes designed to trigger your empathic responses. They create fake crises, hoping you'll break your boundaries to help them, send messages through mutual friends designed to make you feel guilty about prioritizing your own healing, and monitor your social media activity for signs of vulnerability they could exploit to re-establish contact. Some have even considered more extreme measures like showing up at your workplace, residence, or frequently visited locations with prepared speeches about how much they miss your friendship and need your guidance through difficult life transitions. The second group comprises sophisticated controllers whose entire sense of personal power, social status, and psychological stability was built around their ability to influence your decisions, emotional responses, and life choices according to their preferences and agenda. These individuals view your successful escape from their manipulation web as a personal declaration of war against their perceived authority over your existence and a fundamental threat to their identity as someone capable of controlling others. They're not seeking genuine reconnection based on mutual respect, healthy boundaries, and authentic care for your well-being. They're planning elaborate revenge campaigns disguised as reconciliation attempts, hoping to regain their former dominance through sophisticated tactics that worked on your previous incarnation but will prove completely useless against your transformed consciousness. These controllers spent years studying your triggers, vulnerabilities, insecurities, and behavioral patterns. With the dedication of psychological warfare specialists, they learned exactly which words could make you doubt your own perceptions and decisions, which situations could activate your guilt responses and people-pleasing tendencies, and which emotional buttons could redirect your attention away from your own needs toward their agenda and priorities. They developed sophisticated gaslighting techniques that made you question your own perception of reality when their behavior crossed clearly established boundaries, convincing you that your discomfort with their treatment was evidence of your own oversensitivity rather than appropriate responses to boundary violations. The third category includes confused souls who sense something significant happening in your energy field but lack the spiritual vocabulary, psychological sophistication, or emotional maturity to understand what they're witnessing or how to respond appropriately. These people experience inexplicable magnetic pulls toward your presence that feel like destiny calling them toward their soulmate, twin flame, or missing puzzle piece that will complete their life's purpose. They convince themselves that engineering encounters with you will create magical resolutions to their own stagnant circumstances, relationship problems, and unfulfilled dreams, not realizing that proximity to your elevated frequency would expose the gap between their current reality and their unlived potential in ways they're not psychologically prepared to handle. These individuals often describe feeling like something important is missing from their lives without being able to identify what that something might be or how to cultivate it independently. They experience persistent restlessness, dissatisfaction with their current relationships and circumstances, and nagging sense that they're meant to be living differently than they are, but lack the courage or commitment to make necessary changes. Your energy represents everything they wish they could become but are too afraid to pursue through their own efforts, so they fantasize about absorbing your qualities through association rather than doing the difficult work of developing those characteristics through personal growth and spiritual development. They interpret chance encounters with people who know you as signs from the universe that they should pursue reconnection with increasing persistence. They analyze mutual friends' social media posts for indirect information about your current activities, relationship status, and emotional state. Some have even considered hiring private investigators or using location tracking technology to discover your whereabouts, justifying these stalking behaviors as romantic gestures or spiritual callings rather than recognizing them as violations of your clearly established boundaries and evidence of their own psychological instability. The most dangerous category consists of calculating watchers who recognize your gifts, spiritual advancement, and rising influence, wanting to exploit them for their own advancement in business ventures, social circles, spiritual communities, or creative endeavors. These individuals study your patterns like intelligence analysts, monitoring your digital footprint for clues about your location, future activities, and potential vulnerabilities they could exploit. They create elaborate schemes to position themselves in your path when your defenses might be lowest, hoping to establish connections that could elevate their own status, credibility, and access to opportunities through association with your rising energy and expanding influence. These predators understand that being seen with you at events, referenced in your social media posts, or included in your inner circle would signal to others that they possess qualities worthy of your attention and association. They're willing to invest considerable time, money, effort, and psychological manipulation into engineering circumstances that appear coincidental but are actually carefully orchestrated ambushes designed to catch you during vulnerable moments when you might be more susceptible to their influence and less likely to recognize their true motivations. They've studied your previous relationships, both romantic and platonic, to identify patterns in the types of people you've historically found attractive, compelling, or worthy of trust. They research your interests, values, communication style, and spiritual beliefs to craft personas that mirror your preferences while hiding their predatory intentions. Some have even undergone temporary lifestyle changes, adopted new hobbies, or altered their appearance to increase their chances of crossing paths with you in environments where you feel comfortable and open to new connections. The same protective forces guiding your hermit phase have been preparing you for exactly this kind of coordinated predatory attention, strengthening your spiritual defenses and developing your ability to recognize threats before they can establish footholds in your experience. Every challenge you've overcome during your isolation has been strengthening specific spiritual muscles you'll need to handle multiple categories of people trying to access your energy simultaneously without becoming overwhelmed or manipulated by their combined pressure. The loneliness you've endured during this transformation period has been developing your capacity to distinguish between authentic connection based on mutual respect and sophisticated manipulation attempts designed to exploit your natural empathy and desire for meaningful relationships. The boredom you've experienced has been clearing space in your consciousness for opportunities that will require immediate decision-making without consultation or consensus from people who lack the spiritual maturity to understand your mission or the psychological sophistication to provide genuinely helpful guidance. The attacks are specifically designed to make you doubt your psychological stability and seek external validation from people who would gladly provide it in exchange for renewed access to your energy field and influence over your decisions. On the mental plane, you encounter persistent negative thoughts that don't sound like your own internal voice, decision-making paralysis around choices that should be straightforward based on your values and preferences, and concentration difficulties that interfere with activities you previously found engaging and effortless. The psychic level delivers the most sophisticated attacks through sudden health issues that disappear as mysteriously as they arrived, sleep disturbances featuring vivid dreams about people from your past who shouldn't have access to your subconscious mind, on financial emergencies that manifest precisely when you're gaining momentum toward important goals. These manifestations are designed to convince you that your transformation journey is causing more problems than solutions, and that you should return to previous patterns that kept you accessible to energy vampires and controllers. But recognition of these multidimensional attacks reveals something profound about your true nature and spiritual significance that validates every sacrifice you've made during this difficult transformation period. You wouldn't face this level of coordinated opposition if you weren't capable of handling it successfully and evolving beyond their capacity to interfere with your mission. The universe operates according to perfect balance and divine justice, never sending challenges without also providing the resources, support and inner strength necessary for complete victory over forces that seek to diminish your light. The Obsidian Inner Order is where you can process difficult realizations together, every week on our Zoom calls with people who understand that some of life's most painful experiences become our greatest teachers. We don't encourage bitterness, we cultivate wisdom. Your ability to see people's true character is a gift that will protect you from future betrayals. Your willingness to forgive while maintaining boundaries shows strength, not weakness. Your wisdom was earned through experience, not given freely. Connect with people who value truth. Join the Obsidian Inner Order. Link in the description. Run every attack you've survived has been developing your spiritual immune system, teaching you to recognize hostile energies before they can establish footholds in your experience, and proving that your connection to protective forces is stronger than any weapon that can be directed against your consciousness. Your protective isolation has been accomplishing multiple objectives simultaneously that extend far beyond simple social withdrawal or temporary rest from overwhelming responsibilities. The metamorphosis nearing completion will place you permanently beyond the reach of anyone operating from lower vibrational intentions, while simultaneously making you accessible to every person genuinely ready to receive what you have to offer the world. The people currently seeking you will discover that the places themselves have changed, that the you they seek exists only in their memories of who you used to be, and that the protection surrounding your new existence operates according to spiritual laws they cannot comprehend, circumvent, or override through persistence or manipulation. Soon, those seeking energies will find themselves looking for shadows, while the real you steps into opportunities they never could have imagined or prevented. The hunt ends when the prey transforms into something the hunter cannot recognize, leaving them searching for someone who no longer exists in any form they can perceive, while you emerge as a beacon guiding other chosen ones through their own metamorphosis into spiritual maturity and authentic power. The seeking behaviors have escalated into coordinated surveillance operations that would shock you if you understood their full scope and sophistication. Multiple parties are currently comparing notes about your whereabouts, sharing information gathered through different sources, and creating detailed profiles of your current lifestyle patterns. Former romantic partners have formed unlikely alliances with jealous acquaintances, pooling their intelligence about your habits and preferences. They analyze your purchasing patterns through shared bank accounts or mutual friends who witness your transactions, tracking whether you've moved to new areas based on delivery addresses and location check-ins accidentally revealed by people in your social circle. These seeking energies have created elaborate digital networks designed to monitor your online presence across platforms you don't even realize they can access. They use advanced search techniques to find photos you're tagged in by friends, analyze background details in your social media posts for location clues, and cross-reference your activity with public databases to build comprehensive timelines of your movements. Some have hired professional investigators or utilized employee connections at social media companies to access information that should be private, while others have developed sophisticated catfishing profiles to friend your close contacts and gather intelligence through seemingly innocent conversations. The controllers among your seekers have begun implementing psychological warfare tactics designed to destabilize your support system and isolate you from protective relationships. They spread carefully crafted rumors through mutual connections, plant seeds of doubt about your mental health or motivations among people who care about you, and create manufactured drama designed to turn your allies against each other. They know that isolation makes you more vulnerable to their manipulation attempts, so they systematically work to undermine every healthy relationship in your life through character assassination campaigns disguised as concerned observations about your recent behavior changes. Meanwhile, the energy vampires have organized themselves into relay teams, taking turns attempting to breach your boundaries when they sense your defenses might be weakened by stress, illness, or emotional challenges. They monitor your social media activity for signs of vulnerability, coordinate their approach timing to maximize pressure during your difficult periods, and share intelligence about which manipulation tactics have historically been most effective against your particular psychological makeup. Some have even created fake emergency situations involving mutual friends or family members, hoping to trigger your empathic responses and force you to break your protective isolation. The calculated predators watching your evolution have begun positioning themselves strategically in environments where they anticipate you might eventually appear. They research your professional industry to place themselves at networking events you might attend, study your spiritual interests to show up at meditation centers or workshops aligned with your growth path, and infiltrate social circles connected to your new identity. These individuals understand that your transformation will eventually require you to emerge from isolation, so they're preparing elaborate traps disguised as serendipitous encounters that will seem natural but are actually carefully orchestrated ambushes. But the protective forces surrounding your metamorphosis have been monitoring these coordinated hunting efforts with equal sophistication, implementing countermeasures that operate far beyond your conscious awareness. Guardian energies have been redirecting these seeking energies away from your actual location through false leads, misleading information, and energetic diversions that send them chasing shadows while you remain safely hidden in plain sight. Every time multiple seekers converge on the same location hoping to find you, protective interventions ensure you're guided elsewhere through sudden inspirations, unexpected opportunities, or inexplicable urges to change your plans. The spiritual protection operating around your transformation extends into the digital realm, where higher dimensional intelligence networks interfere with surveillance technology, corrupt data gathered about your activities, and create false digital footprints that lead seekers toward incorrect conclusions about your current circumstances. Their sophisticated tracking attempts fail because the technology itself malfunctions when directed toward your energy signature, producing scrambled results that frustrate their efforts and make them question their own competence. Social media algorithms begin hiding your content from people whose intentions toward you operate from lower vibrational frequencies, while amplifying your visibility to souls aligned with your highest good. The intensity of seeking behaviors targeting you has reached such unprecedented levels that it's creating ripple effects throughout multiple social circles, families, and community networks. People who barely knew you before your transformation find themselves inexplicably drawn into conversations about your whereabouts, often without understanding why they feel compelled to share information about potential sightings or mutual connections. This phenomenon reveals the extent to which your evolution is affecting the collective consciousness of everyone who has ever interacted with your energy field, creating a magnetic pull that operates beyond rational explanation. Former workplace colleagues check your professional networking profiles obsessively, hoping to discover whether you've changed careers or relocated to different industries. They analyze your skills, endorsements, and connection additions for clues about your current professional activities, sometimes reaching out to your listed contacts under false pretenses to gather intelligence about your employment status and financial situation. Some have even contacted your previous employers, trying to obtain forwarding information, claiming they need to reach you for important business purposes, when their actual motivation involves regaining access to your problem-solving abilities and professional network. The energy vampires who once relied on your emotional support have begun experiencing severe withdrawal symptoms that manifest as physical illness, chronic fatigue, and psychological instability, requiring medical intervention. Their doctors cannot identify concrete causes for their deteriorating health because the root issue involves energetic dependency rather than medical pathology. These individuals often describe feeling like they're dying slowly, experiencing mysterious symptoms that disappear temporarily when they successfully make contact with other empathic individuals, but return with increased intensity when those connections prove unsatisfying compared to the quality of energy they once extracted from your system. Their desperation has led some energy vampires to extreme measures, including showing up at your last known address, despite knowing you no longer live there, contacting your family members with fabricated stories about needing to reach you for urgent matters, and creating multiple fake social media profiles to circumvent blocks you've placed on their primary accounts. They monitor mutual friends' activity for signs that you've maintained contact with specific individuals, then target those people with friendship requests and manipulative conversations designed to extract information about your current situation. The controllers who lost their influence over your decisions have begun implementing scorched earth tactics designed to punish you for escaping their manipulation web, while simultaneously trying to force your return to dynamics that served their interests. They spread malicious gossip throughout professional networks, trying to damage your reputation and career prospects, hoping financial pressure will make you vulnerable to their assistance offers. Some have escalated to legal harassment, filing false complaints or frivolous lawsuits designed to drain your resources and force you to engage with them through court proceedings. These revenge campaigns often involve coordinated character assassination efforts where multiple controllers share strategies for maximum psychological damage while maintaining plausible deniability about their involvement. They study your known triggers and psychological vulnerabilities, then craft precisely targeted attacks designed to undermine your confidence and make you doubt the wisdom of your transformation journey. Their goal involves convincing you that escaping their control has caused more problems than remaining under their influence, hoping desperation will drive you back to seeking their guidance and approval. But their escalating attacks serve as confirmation that your protective isolation was absolutely necessary and perfectly timed. Every manipulation attempt that fails against your new consciousness provides additional evidence of how completely you've evolved beyond their capacity to influence your reality. The same tactics that once left you questioning your own perceptions now appear transparent and laughably ineffective against your upgraded spiritual defenses and enhanced psychological boundaries. Your transformation has created such powerful energetic shifts that even people peripherally connected to your social network are experiencing unexplained changes in their own consciousness and life circumstances. Friends of friends report sudden urges to examine their own relationships and life choices after hearing stories about your evolution. Your courage in choosing authentic growth over comfortable limitation has given others permission to question their own compromises and begin their own healing journeys, creating expanding circles of consciousness elevation that threaten systems built on keeping people spiritually asleep and easily controlled. The seeking energies hunting for you represent the death throes of an entire frequency band that can no longer sustain itself without access to your light. Like parasites discovering their host has developed immunity to their presence, they're experiencing panic that manifests as increasingly desperate and sophisticated attempts to re-establish their former feeding relationships. But evolution moves in only one direction, and you cannot return to previous versions of yourself any more than a butterfly can crawl back into its cocoon. The protection surrounding your metamorphosis has been preparing you for the moment when you'll emerge into public visibility with such radiant authentic power that lower vibrational energies cannot maintain proximity to your frequency without experiencing severe discomfort. Your seekers will discover that the person they've been hunting exists only in their memories, while the being you've become operates according to universal laws they cannot comprehend or manipulate. Soon, their coordinated hunting efforts will collapse under the weight of their own futility as they realize they're chasing phantoms while you step into opportunities that align with your elevated purpose. The situation they thought they could control has transformed into circumstances beyond their comprehension, and the places where they expected to find you have become portals to realities where they cannot follow. Your protection transforms from defensive shelter into offensive radiance that neutralizes threats before they can form coherent plans against your mission. The circle completes itself as the hunted becomes the untouchable, and those who sought to control your situation discover they can no longer even locate the situation they thought they understood. This is how chosen ones emerge from their cocoons, not by escaping their hunters, but by evolving beyond their capacity to hunt.